Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Lakes Power Stroke FX4. If you are a new viewer, please take the time, if you like the video, to like it or comment if you have any questions, or if you would, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe so you can see future content, even if this specific content isn't specifically for you, and that's totally okay. It might be for some people. So in this video, what I want to cover is Jeeps. I was never a Jeep guy. I'd never, I'd been in them and off-roaded with them, but I had never been into Jeeps. Allergies here, excuse me. It's that time of year, guys. But I never thought I'd be like a fan of Jeeps. When you're a truck guy, Jeeps are always like the red-headed stepchild. They're Jeeps. It's a Jeep thing, and the people in them are the Jeep thing. But what I've found being around Jeeps more and around people more is there seems to be a huge deviation of who you maybe thought a Jeep guy was, or a Jeep girl, and the reality is most of them are pretty cool people. And the other thing is, too, Jeeps are actually pretty cool. And this coming from a guy who basically only owns 8-lug heavy-duty trucks. So my rationale for that is the entire point of this video, and kind of why I kind of came to the realization that they're actually pretty cool. So I guess major point number one is they have a pretty solid driveline. Their driveline looks a whole lot more like a heavy-duty truck than basically anything else on the road. For their size, they have fairly decent axles. The rear axle in Wranglers is a Dana 44, which is what a front axle is in old body style 8-lug trucks. Ford and Chevy, kind of also closely related to the Chevy 10-bolt front axle in Chevy trucks. So, old Chevy trucks, Scottsdales. So, the rear axle is pretty dang strong for the weight of the vehicle. The front axle is a Dana 30, and they're stronger than they were before, as in the 90s Jeeps and stuff like that. The new Wranglers have a pretty strong front axle, and from what I understand, and I don't have any first-hand experience, what I understand is if you wheel with a brain, camera tilted. If you wheel with a brain, you're looking at like a 37-inch tall tire is the braking point, and if you wheel without a brain or you have a lot of horsepower, like an engine swap, like an LS swap, 35s are basically the limit. And from what I understand, you can run 37s if you wheel with a brain with horsepower. If you wheel with a lead foot, sounds like you're gonna pop them with horsepower and a grippy tire. So, but that's pretty impressive if you think about it. You could buy this Jeep. You could buy either a new JL or a new JK or a used JK, and you could slap some pretty decent tires on to do just about any trail in the United States. And if you had an ounce of common sense, you could probably get away with running the factory driveline for a long time. And you might want to re-gear, but if you're just going to go hit a trail and you're just going to put it in 4 low, and you're not trying to rock crawl where you have every last little bit of crawl ratio, if you're just hitting a trail that's more, the Jeep can do it easily. If you're at the limit of the Jeep, you're definitely going to want to have a better crawl ratio so you can really get those tires spinning nice and slow. But it's pretty impressive, the package that they give you, to be honest. And I think that's my biggest reason, is this whole driveline is friggin' tough. The transfer case, to my knowledge, is related to the 241, which is a half-ton transfer case. And arguably speaking, a 241 and a 261, 263, which is in 2500 and 3500 HD Chevy, they're not that far apart in strength. So the 241 is no joke. The Atlas is based on, to my knowledge, the Atlas, the relatively famous Atlas transfer case, the one that Advanced Adapters makes, that's basically bomb-proof. It's got the guts of a 241. So, that should bode pretty well. So, strength-wise, they got it knocked. The frame on this thing is easily equivalent to a 90s half-ton Chevy. And a 90s half-ton Chevy had a perfectly reasonable frame. And on something this short a wheelbase, honestly, it's a tank. You'd have to be a friggin' moron to break the frame of one of these. So, that's pretty cool. Another thing that's really awesome about it, I have an Excursion. I like Excursions. I like SUVs, specifically Excursions. Jeeps are just like SUVs. They have the storage capacity inside of them to put your stuff. You can lock it with a nice little click, 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 and she's locked. Looks like dead animal in the road. Oops. Yeah, so it's pretty impressive, the parts that they put together for this thing. And it's available off the showroom floor. You could literally go buy a perfectly reasonable off-roader. You'd have to take some effort to, say, make a, I haven't even got into the reliability of turning the key and, EFI takes care of you, but if you wanted to build something that was comparable to this, and say a Bronco or a Scottsdale, like a K5 Blazer, you're going to want to have EFI, and you're going to want to have probably an LS swap, and an overdrive transmission, and blah, 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 blah. But the Jeep comes with a perfectly reasonable V6. The Pentastar is a nice V6. They won Engine of the Year in like 2012 or whatever they did when they came out. They're a nice engine, and I think they've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that they stood the test of time. They're in half-ton pickup, Dodge pickups, Chargers, Challengers, Jeeps, like the Grand Cherokee. I think the Durango. It's a corporate engine. They're in freaking everything that's made by Fiat Chrysler, And at the time of when it came out, Dodge, it was slightly pre-Fiat as far as I know. So yeah, they nailed this thing, in my opinion. It is such a simple vehicle. Like, it harkens back to when trucks did. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to edit that out. Goodness. It harkens back. I did a slip of the tongue there, and we're gonna splice that out. Like I said, we're gonna keep it family friendly. So this thing harkens back to when trucks were simple. They didn't have vibrating seats and all this other garbage that Platinum owners seem to think they need to have. It's got electric door locks, it's got electric windows, and that's literally it. It's a simple truck. The AC kicks cold air, the heat kicks hot air. Like, you could cook a turkey over the vent discharge in this thing with the heat cranked. I'm not kidding. You could go shoot turkey, and then you could cook it. I'm not kidding. They literally designed the heating system, I think, to keep you warm with the top off. Several twisties. I guess I'm getting a little bit off track for my first point, so I'll get to the removable top here in a minute. So, they built a tough vehicle, and it would easily hold up to somebody who didn't have common sense, especially if you kept it on 33s and you put like Nittos or something. If you put Nittos on here, Nitto mud grabblers, oh great, interesting. Dude chose to pass right when it was going to be a pinch point. Oh well. So, back to train of thought here. Another thing that I really like about these is, I guess you could say, the heritage. Jeeps of, first of all, World War II. I mean, everybody loves an old Willys. Come on. If you don't like Jeeps, you like old military Jeeps. There is one person who could say they don't like military Jeeps because they're cool. So, there's that. But definitely, it still looks like a Jeep. And I think it is if you're looking for a Jeep, like if you're watching this video, like you want to have a different opinion on Jeeps. I'm not a Jeep owner. This is my girlfriend's Jeep. I've had the pleasure of being able to drive it, use it, go hunting out of it with her. It's a really good vehicle. Just from an objective standpoint of a vehicle, it gets fuel economy maybe just a touch under that of a minivan. My mom's minivan gets like 26. This thing I can get 20, 21, 22 out of it, but I mean, I first of all use speed control. If I'm not using speed control, I drive with a consistent, throttle application, and I accelerate, like an adult. If you don't accelerate like an adult, you're going to get 17 or 18, and that's basically what they get. You're going to get 17 or 18 if it's blowing. If you're pushing a headwind in these bricks, you're going to get 17 or 18. But 17 or 18 is in my opinion, perfectly fair fuel economy. If you're worried about 40 miles a gallon, then you're not even looking for an SUV, because you're not going to buy an SUV that's going to give you 40 miles a gallon. So forget it. You can hardly even buy a car anymore that gets 40 miles a gallon, because there's so much emissions bullcrap on these vehicles, you can't even get something that's efficient anymore. So, 20 miles a gallon, just happy with medium. I think it's pretty attainable to get 19.9. We'll call that 20 miles a gallon. Most people should be able to get that. It's about what it gets in the real world. As far as I know, the JL is a little bit better. They increased the compression ratio on the Pentastar, which always helps with efficiency. Slight increase. I think this was like 10.8, and the Pentastar is like 11.1. It's something. Compression ratio really does matter, and it definitely improves the efficiency of the engine. So, good engine. It's easy to do an oil change. I've done several oil changes on this. The oil filter is on top. I'm not really sure if I love that type of oil filter where the cap screws off and you put the new element in and it's like a plastic basket that holds it. I'm not sure if I'm in love with that, but so far it's worked. It seems to, when you fire it up, it runs lacking of oil as it repressurizes that elevated oil filter. I'm not sure if I love that design, but it certainly makes it easy to service. The drain plug is in a super easy place on the oil pan. You can get under here, no jack stands, just slide yourself under the truck, take your 13 millimeter, whatever the heck it is, and take it off, do your oil change, and you're good to go. I just use a paper towel and clean out the where the cartridge goes so it's clean, and make sure you replace your O-ring. It comes with a new O-ring. Service on this thing is freaking simple. The windshield washer fluid reservoir is in a simple spot. On most vehicles it is, no big deal. There's enough room to just dump the thing in. It's not buried down inside of, electrical boxes between the two of them, where you need to use a funnel so you don't, put piss or fluid all over a, fuse box. It's in a convenient location where you can just, if you slopped it by accident, it's not detrimental to, They thought this thing through. My understanding is you can drop the windshield. I don't really know that I'd ever want to do that. Just roll the windows down. I don't really know that I need to drop the windshield, but on these you can. I think the best part of this is the Freedom top. The two front pieces come out with really little to no effort. There's plenty of room to put them in the back of the truck. So if you ran into nice weather and you just want to take them out and throw them in the truck, you can do that, no problem. It would take a minute and a half and you'd have the tops off. And it really is fun, whether you're driving in a downtown environment with huge skyscrapers and stuff. We've done that. It's actually really cool to be able to look up and see the huge skyscraper towering over top of you. And just as much being out in nature, we had an eagle fly over us once with the top off. It was a cool experience. It's definitely very cool that you could do that. I don't know. I think she had the whole top off at one point. We've never done that just because we've been happy with just taking off the Freedom top things, or the front tops. You can take the whole darn thing off, and it's a lot of work, and you got to have something to store it on because you don't want to screw it up, but it's cool. So that is a neat feature. I'm used to driving trucks in terms of whether it's a leaf spring truck or a coil sprung truck or a modified truck. I'm used to driving trucks. Actually, I'm going to kick it up. There's a semi behind me, and he's trying to get, a load delivered, and I'm not going to be a jerk and go under the speed limit. I'm happy to go under the speed limit. I'm enjoying filming this video. So, we'll speed it up so he doesn't have to worry about it. So, oh, goodness gracious, where was I? The way it drives. This thing drives awesome. I don't know where people, I just think they're sissies and they don't know how to drive. One finger, people. One finger. going through little corners. You can thrash this thing in corners. I've done it on back roads, like twisty roads. It's perfectly capable of handling. I don't want to hear for 1 second it doesn't handle well. No, it handles just fine. It drives great. There's literally nothing wrong with this. And if you got into a half-ton Chevy with that junk IFS that freaking brakes all the time, it drives the same way, except for it's a solid axle. It's actually strong and it flexes. So I don't want to hear a single bit of garbage about, oh, Jeeps don't drive well. No, you don't drive well, because clearly you can't drive. So get over it. So if you're looking for Jeeps, don't let anybody scare you off on how they drive. They drive just fine. Do 95 down the expressway, just short of the limiter, and I wouldn't do that unless your state has an unlimited speed limit. But it is totally not a big deal to drive fast, slow, whatever you want to do. It's not a detriment. Certainly when the wind is blowing, you have to stay on top of it because it's so unaerodynamic. It tends to blow around a little bit, but it doesn't take but this much effort to keep it, going straight. It's not like it jumps out of the lane. I think people like to make it blown out of proportion because they have an angle. Maybe they're a Toyota guy, and I like my foreign trucks with IRS and IFS, IRS and IFS, whatever, IFS, and I'm just gonna hate on Jeeps because I know my Toyota doesn't even compare to a Jeep off-road. So I guess that segues really well into Jeeps off-road. They're awesome. I'm used to heavy-duty truck, depending on diesel, gas, set anywhere from 6,400 pounds to 7,100 pounds, depending on if it's a four-door or a long bed or a regular cab, whatever. A Jeep is less than 5,000 pounds. They're really liked. There's always a cop that hangs out in this little town, so I'm going to slow down early. They watch. I'm also going to get out of the semi-truck's way. So he's probably, got several runs to make, and you don't want to be a jerk and hold them up. I got a buddy who's a semi-truck driver. Anyway, they, oh goodness gracious, what the heck was I talking about? My goodness. The semi go by, figures the right thing to do. Septic truck, he's probably got to do a septic tank way up north. Anyway, what I was talking about was off-roading. You can really feel the weight. This thing is closer to the weight of a Challenger Hellcat than it is to a truck. And it has the running gear of a truck. So as you might imagine, it's both tough and it's really good off-road. You can feel the weight. If the trail is, obviously if it's an easy trail, you're just going to be in two-wheel drive. I brought this thing places in two-wheel drive that I really didn't expect, on stock tires. We'll get to tires in a second. My girlfriend changed wheels and tires on this, and let me tell you, did it change the look of this vehicle. Holy mackerel. It went from being kind of like, it was cool, but it wasn't like tough. Oh, it's tough. Let me tell you that it's tough. It's really tough looking truck. I really like it. It looks really good. And I guess I'll give a little spoiler. She got 285 70R17 Falken Wildpeak at3w's. They are awesome. I should really just do a tire review. I got the same tires for my Excursion, so there will definitely be some content on those tires. I got 37-12.5s for my Excursion, and she got 285 70R17, which is an excellent size. Let me just segue for a minute. If you're taking the time to watch this video and you have any truck, pickup truck, full-size truck, half-ton, anything, if you can find a way to fit 285 70R17s or 285 75 16s, if you have 16s, it is a really good tire. It really gets you into having an off-road tire in terms of size, but without having any of the downsides that a 12.5 or a 13.5 has. The way it follows the road and stuff like that, you just don't have that. 285 is a really nice width. It's like 11.25 wide, especially for something that's lighter like this. It's really nice. When you get into 12.5, a lot of times you get any well-constructed tire is going to have some weight attached to it. You just have that much more girth of the tire and that much more tread and all that rubber. It adds up. A 285 gets the job done diameter-wise. Both of those are hovering just south of 33 inches in diameter. The 16 is just over 32, and the 17 is really close to 33. It's like 32.7 or something. But it is a solid tire. I had the 16s on my Excursion for a long time. I ran that truck stock for most of my ownership. I only recently, right before I graduated college, I had saved up some money and I blew it all on that truck. And that's why I'm kind of restoring it all, is because I blew a bunch of money on it and tried to make it really nice or last. So, anyway. Falken Wildpeaks are awesome. Rain, snow, anything so far. We haven't sunk this in mud, and I don't really know if we ever will, to be honest with you. It's just not something it's not my truck. She wants to keep it nice, and I really don't blame her. It's a nice truck. There's no reason to sink it in mud if you're not interested in doing that. Mud is terrible on things. So I can't really tell you on mud. I would have to assume that it would perform admirably until that point, which it doesn't, and then you're going to be stuck. Just such is the way with all-terrain tires. They go, and then when they glomp up and you can't clean them and they sink, oh Lord, you are stuck and you're not going anywhere. So I'm going to wheel in right now, really quick to here, and whip around, just because I went a long ways north because I was enjoying talking with you guys. But I have lawn mowing to do today, so I'm going to wrap up the video while driving back toward my house. Yeah. I just really enjoy making these videos, and I appreciate when you guys tune in and watch them because it makes me happy. And for you guys watching this right now, I really appreciate it. So we are going to take this hopefully very soon to do some trail riding. Not crazy, ridiculous hard trails. You should watch Light Bright or Trail Recon, oopsies, for that kind of stuff. We're just going to do some easy trails, see some nature, that kind of stuff. Probably do some scouting for hunting this year, that kind of fun ordeal. So I'll definitely have a video on that. She wants to get out and try these in more adverse conditions. So I'm going to take several pictures. So following this will be some just pictures, maybe some music or something fun, of the way the stance is on the Jeep. So she got 0 offset, their Method 312s. They're 8.5 inches wide, I think, 8 or 8.5 or 9 inches wide. I forgot which one it was, but they're 17s, of course. And like I said, they're 285 70R 17s. And this thing handles better, it corners better, it rides better. Man, if you're selling stock wheels or tires and you're trying to push yourself to get, something, get them. The single biggest upgrade you can do, both visually and performance-wise, if you choose the right stuff, is wheels and tires. Wheels give you the stance, and in this case, widen the track width slightly, which obviously increases stability without any detriment to steering. And I think these tires just give better feedback. I think these are really solid tires. But there's definitely no downside to having slightly bigger width tires, slightly bigger diameter. Actually, take that back. The stock 255s on this are very nearly the exact same diameter. So all she did was go up in width. My allergies are absolutely killing me. Hopefully I don't sound too nasally. Oh, there's Jeep behind me. Well, if they pass, I'll give them a Jeep wave. So that's the other thing about Jeep culture. You get to, do a little, V for victory. Oopsies. V for victory. It's kind of fun. I don't know. Jeep culture is pretty cool. I've definitely run into some weirdos on the trail, and just people I know who definitely are that Jeep guy. So it was definitely a turnoff for a long time. But they're definitely not all like that, especially when they're adults and they buy something that's, not a $1,500 $100 piece of crud. But anyway, so I had to sneeze. My allergies are absolutely killing me. I don't know if any other YouTube people are like this honest when they're, either maybe they don't. I've never seen somebody have allergies or whatever while they're making a video. So if that's just weird to you, that's fine. I'm just, it's not the Rona, it's the allergies. So, Jeep, we've covered build quality, not build quality, strength of construction, which is solid. We've covered the flexibility of being able to take the top off, storage space. We went hunting, two of us. We had, 2 sets of guns and gun cases. We had camo for both snow and because it snowed and it was not snowy in the same trip. So it's a good thing we had snow camo. Snow and green camo. We had, let's see here, what else we have? We had a cooler for food. We had several things of that nature. And there was plenty of room in here. You would be amazed what a 4-door Jeep will gobble up. I guess that's one little quick tenet, or one quick point. I think the 4-door is a solid choice. I think that one of the things that made the Jeep perhaps less practical, especially to someone who's used to a bigger truck, sure, a short Jeep has a good turning radius. It's easy to fit down teeny-weeny little trails, but it's just simply not practical. And if you're going to spend new vehicle money on a new vehicle, you want it to be practical. And for me, having a child and being into outdoorsing, where you just, in fact, I might let this Jeep go by really quick. I don't want to hold anybody up. A lot of people are trying to get to work today. Today is my housework day. So, I don't really have anywhere to be besides on the lawn tractor, which I'm not right now because I'm here with you guys. So, I'll let him get to what he's doing because he's probably late for work because it's 9:27. So, I'm going to be taking some pictures. And, yeah. So, the wheels and tires fit really well. This is not lifted or leveled or anything. It is literally stock, and this thing does not rub on the 285s. 70R17s with 0 offset methods. I think they're 9 or 8.5 inches wide. Whatever is on their website is what they are. 312s is the model number of these wheels. I think she made a solid choice, and I was definitely advising her on this choice. That's how she ended up doing this. And especially on the wheels, I just think quality wheels go a long way. So I'm trying to think about what else to say. It'll go way, it'll be way more important to you guys to see some off-roading, but where I live, there are 0 trails. Thank you, DNR. There are literally no trails. You think with all the space the thumb has, there would be trails? No. Nope. So we have to go up north. So when Michiganders are like up north, they're talking you get on I-75 and need to go north. And generally when you get above Bay City is where people's cottages start happening. And some people go have places way up toward Mackinac City or Gaylord. And some people have places, say Mayo, Luzerne, Standish, St. Helen. Anyway. When Michiganders say up north, it means they're going up for a relaxing time or they're going up to hit trails. So, there are some trails on the west side of the state and also in the middle of the state. There's none in the thumb. It's crazy. So, I'm going to post some pictures, or in this whole train wreck video here, I'm going to put a whole bunch of pictures that I'm about to take. And so you can see the way the stance looks, and it looks really good. Spoiler alert. But if you're considering getting a Jeep, this long-winded conversation aside, it's a solid vehicle. If you want to have a, I guess, philosophy of use, if you want to say, if you don't need to have a pickup truck, you don't need to have the towing capacity, then this is a really solid option. If you already own a pickup truck and you want to have a second vehicle for, anything, this thing gets good fuel economy. The turning radius, I really should have talked about that earlier, but I can't go back now. The turning radius is awesome. Parallel parking, whatever parking, this thing turns, and it turns well. So it's great off-road to have great turning, and it's also great in the city if you have to run to town or whatever to be able to park. It is truly, truly awesome, the turning radius. So I'm going to conclude with that. If you are in the market for a Jeep and you're questioning yourself, do not question yourself. Just get it. It's a nice vehicle. So enjoy some pictures.